Hey guys, kevSpec, welcome back to the channel. I've got a quick tutorial for you today on how to replace the switches on your Falcon FG steering wheel and the airbag, because they're one and the same. And we've got a quick cruise at the end, a couple of highway pulls, some really good footage, so stay tuned to the end. Just a quick mini cruise in my local area. Don't forget the wheel giveaway, guys. Beautiful set of restored 20-inch Argents that you can win. Get in the giveaway. The entry details are on my website, so www.kevspec.com. The entry details are on the first page there. Grab yourself a free sticker for the entry. Get in there. The entries close on the 20th of October and it'll get drawn on the 5th of November. Jump on there, go and check it out. I've got some stickers as well, so check out my merch while I'm there. We've got some stickers. Check them out. Look at that. Got some nice stickers there. So that's all on my web store. We've got t-shirts, hoodies, long sleeve tops, caps. So go and check them out. Plenty of stock. Get your entries in for the giveaway, and I hope you like the video. Don't forget to subscribe at the end, and you can give it a like, that'd be great. Stay safe, love yous.
G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. kevSpec, got another how-to for you today. We're going to be changing the cruise control of volume buttons on the steering wheel. My car's got a few Ks on it, so the volume buttons have worn the little numbers off a little bit. So I'm going to show you what's involved on removing the airbag to change the switches. We'll go through that now. Let's get to it. Okay, so step one is to disconnect the battery. Whenever you are playing with airbags, you must disconnect the battery. Rule number one. I've heard stories, I've never seen it happen. But yeah, if you accidentally short out any of the airbag wiring or touch something you're not supposed to, you will end up in the back seat. Right, so that's the positive disconnected. Now we can go on to start removing the airbag. Alrighty guys, so I'm assuming you can see the obvious reason why I'm replacing these. So you can see the volume has worn away, and I've just got a little bit of damage on the corner there just from high use. So the only way is to replace them. So I've just got myself a couple of second-hand switches and we'll get on to the removal. Okay guys, so step one, see this little hole on the bottom? So that's on the bottom of your steering wheel. This little hole here. Okay, so that's your access point for the removal of the airbag. So you need to stick a screwdriver in that little hole, which I'm about to show you. Said screwdriver. Okay, so once you get that screwdriver in the hole, you just push. You've got to push even. So you're pushing on a little spring, which I'll show you in a moment once we get it removed. So you push up and even. You can feel, when you slide it in there, you can feel it hit a metal bar. That's the metal bar you want to be pushing on. So push upwards. And there you go. It just popped then. So you've got to be a bit even with it. Alrighty guys, so I'll just show you that again. So screwdriver, it's just a thin, you need a thinnish flat blade screwdriver into the hole in the center of the bottom of the steering wheel. Now you need to push evenly on that metal rod. Now it helps if you sort of grab it so you can, it wants to, when you push on that, it just naturally wants to cock a little bit. So if you're holding the top of the airbag, as you're pushing on that rod, it'll help it release evenly. There is a bit of a knack to it. There you go. And it just pops off like that. So once you've got the airbag removed, there's a couple of wires, the airbag wires you need to be careful with. Now I've never done this before, so I'm going to try and cheat, because I'm a big believer in the less you touch, the less you can break. So if you can possibly do a job without having to remove something, typically it's the way to go. So I'll undo the main plug here. Right, so this got the main wiring harness here. Okay, so that's the harness we want there. So I don't think we need to remove the airbag harness. This is the harness we want here for the left-right switches. There's a wire here we just need to remove. It's going to this, what I would say would be a horn plate. My best guess, and I reckon I'm right. Anyone can correct me in the comments if you like, but it looks like a horn connecting plate. So gently remove this sucker. Easier said than done sometimes. Just trying to be ultra careful and not be too rough with anything. If we break something, then we're in trouble. All right, so we got that little wire off there. So it does look like we're going to need to disconnect the airbag wiring, which are these two yellow plugs on the back here. These little tangs from memory lift up. All right, they've got two little squeeze tabs on the side of the plug. I'll just gently pull them in. There you go. That's one. You've got two little squeeze tabs. It's a bit different to what I'm used to seeing in the older airbags. That little yellow tab was the locking tab, but nowadays looks like they've just got like a quick release setup for them. Okay. So that is becoming in our way, so we'll just move that aside. Let's have a look at our new switches so we can see how they come out, hey? So typically whenever you can't work something out, the best way is to check the part that's going in. Okay, so it looks like there is two screws that will hold this from behind. So this is looking a lot more involved than I thought. So it's going to be steering wheel off, so let's look like we have to get that done. Okay, so it is going to be steering wheel removal, obviously, because we need to get to some screws that are securing the switches on the rear side here. So you've got one big nut on the center there. It's a Torx bit. It's a 1T50 to be exact. So these suckers are usually pretty tight, obviously being a steering wheel nut. Oh, that one wasn't too bad actually, not too bad at all. Steering wheel must have been off at some stage because we all know what Ford are like in their Loctite. Now typically steering wheels are on a spline. I haven't done a modern car for a while, so it's always good, especially on older cars. Whenever you're removing a steering wheel, just put a little mark. So this has actually already got a mark on the spline, like on the shaft, there's a little notch there. I'll just give you a look. Now, like I said, guys, I'm trying to cover a couple of bases here just for basic technique. Me being old school and worked on a lot of older cars, and I'm sort of talking pre-2010 or even pre-2005. They're typically not like this, and they're on a spline and they can go in a multiple directions. So you can see there, it's already got a notch factory that sort of tells you where top dead, straight up and down is. Obviously the steering wheel's straight before you remove it, but I always like to just put a notch and a mark, just like that. And then it's idiot proof, yeah? Then you can't muck it up. Simple as that. Alrighty, so next stage, steering wheel off. Typically, just give them a wiggle. Okay, this one's on there, so in the interest of not wearing a steering wheel in the face, just put the nut on it, just loosely, or the bolt, sorry. Typically with a bit of a shock like that, it should work it off. Oh, she's on there. Maybe a bit of a love tap from the old, just got a rubber mallet here. There we go. The they're always pretty tight to get off, so just be careful of that. That's why I put the bolt back on. It should just slide off, being careful of our wiring. Okay. Right, so we're going to have to remove this plastic cover here to gain access to there's screws behind here, I'm assuming. So we'll get that black plastic thing off. A couple of Torx bits. Have I got the right one? That is the question. Okay, so we'll undo these four that hold the back of this on. Okay, so I've got the right tool. It's actually a T20 Torx bit for the rear, these four little guys. Oh, quick note too. So this is known as your clock spring, this plastic thing where the wiring comes in. Do not rotate it, do not move it. Especially do not rotate it more than 180 degrees. And if you do, like, make sure you put it back top dead center. They're only designed to go, I think, like 720 each way or 560 each, like a turn and a half. If you over rotate that clock spring, you'll bust all the wires inside there, and they're not cheap. So just be careful that this clock spring stays in the up and down position, because if you rotate it 360 degrees, you'll throw on modern cars, they've got steering angle sensors in there that work in combined with your vehicle stability control and safety systems. So if you rotate that 360, it's going to think the steering wheel's 360 out. You're going to have codes. You're going to have to reset everything. Yeah. So just make sure that clock spring stays where it is. So I hope you've all been well. I haven't been doing much, obviously. You know, just chilling. There's not much to do. I'm not going to pump out useless videos that are uninteresting. You know, these how-tos are killing me as it is. I'd rather be out there with some action stuff, but in Melbourne, there is no action. We are actionless. No events, not allowed out, still 5K limit, locked down, so I can't really go out and do anything. And this has been one of those little jobs I wanted to do, so here we are. So don't forget, guys, we've got the wheel giveaway finishing in approximately 5 days. 6 days on the 20th of October. So the wheel giveaway finishes on the 20th of October. So get your entries in. Jump onto my website, my merch website, www.kevspec.com. Check out the entry details. There are 20 spots left for the giveaway. Go and check it out. All right, so that cover's undone. Hopefully this unclips fairly easy. As I said, guys, like, this isn't pre-recorded or rehearsed. I'm sort of winging it a bit. Right. Okay. Okay. So, looks like it does just unclip. Yeah, so it's just unclipping from the back. It's always a bit scary when you don't know what you're doing, pulling on plastics and stuff, but just be a little careful what you're pulling on. Make sure you haven't missed any screws, because that'll be the #1 reason why you've busted something. And that should just pop off. Go. Yeah, so it's just got those locators there, and they were sort of those locators here and here, and so they just sort of interference fit on those. All right, so there we have it. Now we have access to our 4, once again, Torx bits that hold our switches on, so we'll get rid of them. With any luck, it's the same size, but it does look smaller. Oh no, same size, so T20 Torx on them. Now, taking note, we've got an earth strap here, and there's not a lot of room, so just, you know, take note that that has to go back on, because little things missed can make you pull it all apart again. And we all know what that's like. Okay, that's our four screws for the switches out, and I dare say we should be there now. Okay, so once again they just pop out. There's a couple of little knobs there and there. So they've got a couple of little tangs, they just sort of push in and out. They just pop out of there. I'll show you this one. Just keeping in mind, this is the one that's got that earth wire, so that has to go back on. So just a bit of even pressure and they pop out. So that's the removal. Okay. Out with the old and in with the new. So same process, just reverse what we just done. Pop each of these back in, obviously gently. Winner. This one back in. Okay. Make sure our little earth wire goes back behind here. Flip him over. Just repeat what we just done. Put the screws back in. Not forgetting our earth strap. Don't have to go silly on these guys. Bit of common sense when you're working with interiors. There's no load on it. There's no weight. Just nip stuff up. Now, I don't know what the specs are on it, but I don't know, a couple of Newton meters. 3 Newton meters or something's more than enough. Just nip it up. kevSpec, that Newton meters. Right, checking that we're good before we put the cover back on. Earth wires on. Okay, now this can only go one way, pretty much. Yeah, so it can only go one way. It just sort of pushes back on to those tangs I showed you before on the removal. Making sure it all looks flush, all looks good to me. Pop your screws back in. Okay, refit the steering wheel. Okay, probably wouldn't hurt. Give things a wipe while we're here. It's one of those spots that you never really get a chance to get in and clean, so bit of a wipe. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Alrighty, just pass your wires through. Now, as I said, on these modern cars, it's idiot proof and we haven't moved anything, so just it can only go one way. It's on a hexagonal spline, so you know, you can't put it that way, you know. So pop the steering wheel back on. Now this nut should be torque to spec, 100%. But if you know me by now, I don't do anything by spec, I do it by kevSpec. And it wasn't that tight before, to be honest. Like, it wasn't what I was expecting, you know, like 60, 80 Newton meters or something. Or more. Typically there are tight AF. Right, that's definitely tighter than it was before. happy with that. Steering wheel's not loose. Okay, plug our wires back in. Now these have to, you got to be careful with these. They must go back up in their little holders, otherwise they'll get caught on stuff. And try and be a bit pedantic with it, like put it back. You'll see in the loom where it was kinked sort of before, where it sat. Try and put it exactly where it sat before, unless it looks like it was in the wrong spot, because I have seen them from the factory not being put in the wrong spot and they're not far off wearing through. I think like this right hand side here was not quite put in the right spot. So we're just going to put it a little bit, yeah, that's a bit neater. Okay. Alright, so we can plug that one back in. That one's in. All looks good. So I'll just show you before we go any further. So that mechanism that I was pushing on before to release the airbag, you can see it. See here, these spring tabs. Yeah, so see them there, there, there and there. So I'll give you a bit of a demo. So you can see the hole here. That's the hole that I'm putting the screwdriver in. There we go. So you can see that's what you're doing. Alright. So see that just in front of that, you push the screwdriver up. Now watch those bars. That's what you're doing. So you're releasing those tangs. See how the bars go in, or they go up at the bottom and then in at the top, releasing all the tangs. So that's what you're trying to accomplish. So once again, I'll just show you, we've got a screwdriver here, and that goes in the hole in the bottom of the steering wheel just there. And then you push upwards on that bottom bar, and that's what's releasing your steering wheel. Okay, so that's all done and tight. Connect our airbag back up and we're done. So these should be idiot proof again. They should only go in one spot. Don't forget our little horn wire here that has to go back on the side. Go, it's on. Okay, make sure you're happy with the wiring. Nothing's going to get fouled or pinched, or it's most important you just have a quick look and make sure none of the airbag wires are going to get pinched when you put it back. That looks pretty good. Just gentle, firm pressure, click, and done. Make sure it's on properly. You'll sort of feel if it, you know, if it's not on properly. And that's us. Nice, fresh set of cruise control and volume buttons. Ew! Sick of looking at those dirty, rubbed off buttons. So we've gone from, so that's what we have now. Nice, fresh buttons. And that's what we had. Worn out, crappy buttons. Now we got nice ones. All right, so we'll connect the battery up. Okay, so we're just going to connect the positive terminal back on the battery. Tight like a tiger. Do some final tests and we should be all good. Okay. Right, just make sure everything works, of course. volume button works. Yep, I can change stations. Mode button works. Cruise is flashing. Well, that's interesting. Oh, there we go. It must have been a... I don't think it liked not being in drive. I can't obviously check the rest of the cruise control buttons. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Well, I hope you like that quick how-to tutorial on how to change your cruise control buttons, volume buttons, and obviously airbag. So same procedure. If you need to change an airbag on one of these, same procedure, just don't do the switches. Easy done. Well, that's it from me. Hope you enjoyed the video. Stay safe. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to give the video a like if you like the videos. And remember, I've got the wheel giveaway going. So 20th of this month, the wheel giveaway finishes, and it's drawn on the 5th of November. So get your entries in, www.kevspec.com. Go and check out my merch site. All the entry details are on there. Stay safe and love yous. You! Alright guys. Pretty boring once again, unfortunately. Set up for one of my daily lockdown cruises, mini cruise, I like to call it. Beautiful little hobby farms and stuff around here. This is still part of the Mornington Peninsula. I'm literally like around the corner from my home. This is great. And I've got this pretty much behind me, paddocks and, you know, sheeping and cows cowing and fucking and stuff and animals and bits. It's nice. Good shit. The only thing with all this COVID, the roads haven't had as much love as they need. Oh, this one's real bad. I love the camera's showing how much I'm bouncing around.